right? Did Peter zoom in? Oh, he did?
He did not.
3 to 5 is a quorum, yeah,
Perfect.
majority, actually.
All right, so we'll call the meeting for September 21st, 2022 to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Led by Doug.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. How are you? First item up on the agenda would be the consideration of the approval of the special meeting minutes from last month, August 17th, 2022, which we all have a copy of in front of us and have had available to read. So I make a motion that we accept the approval of the special meeting minutes.
Second.
Seconded by Doug. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. The next item on the agenda is the consideration, discussion, and review of commission seats. I'll let Mr. Ingram speak to this since this item.
Okay, well, I questioned as to when we need to replace commission members, because I know everybody was like on a staggered basis.
Which I checked on.
It's
just
December, I believe.
No, so the first two are 2023. She has them right. So the first ones up of December next year are Rich and then Peter.
Okay,
That's December
Yeah,
4th. And then
that's,
2024 is Doug. And you and I are 2025.
so that was the first thing I questioned. And then I always questioned, this commission reports to the Board of Selectmen.
Yep.
So I questioned, why is there a selectman on the commission? And I don't feel that it's appropriate that a selectman be on the commission, being that we report to the Board of Selectmen. Essentially, that gives that selectman 2 votes on any issue brought before us. My opinion, the articles that define this commission should be rewritten so that there is a senior or retired member from each department sitting on the commission with 3 other outside members. Myself being the senior veteran member from Bethel, and then add a veteran member from Stony Hill would be my recommendation.
Yeah.
To replace the selectmen seat.
Okay.
Obviously, I think at this point, Selectman Straighten's seat has been vacated because he's resigned his position as selectman, as far as I know.
Yeah, I don't understand how that whole is going to go down, but because I was going to
Well,
say.
I guess, no
No
matter what happens at the first selectman's position,
Yeah.
he did resign his position as selectman, so effectively he's resigned his position on this commission.
So my
Would be the way I
question
would-
is, this is, I mean, you guys know it just as well. That was written in their ordinance, or so what would we have to do to review that?
You probably have to bring it to committee, right? It'd have to go to whatever, if we get posted and then voted on like by the town, right? You'd have to.
Well, I mean,
I think it's
any
up to the Board of
recommendation
Selectmen.
this commission makes goes to the Board of Selectmen,
That's the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah,
which apparently we don't have this.
Right. We don't have a quorum, so we can't do anything anytime soon.
But in any event, my recommendation would be going forward to rewrite the ordinance that forms the commission to include a senior, retired, or veteran member from each department in lieu of the selectman's position. Because actually, the way we have it now with Rich being the vice chair of this commission,
yeah.
the selectman is not supposed to hold any position on this commission as it's written.
Okay,
I think it makes good sense.
makes sense to me. So,
I'd like to hear what the
Do you
chief has
guys
to say
have-
on it.
Gentlemen,
Yeah.
that write down all your questions, forward it to town council. I mean, that's part of what he does is
Yeah.
he'll come back with an opinion for you. And
absolutely.
then you guys are working from strength instead of, you're not sure. what's
So what
going
I can do is you and I can draft an email. Send it
Yeah.
to Marty and we'll go from there.
He's very good about,
Yeah. I mean, how do you guys feel?
he
about
knows
it?
that stuff.
What's your thought?
I think that's a great idea. That Chief and I were kind of talking, as you guys are talking. You have a representative from each department and then 3 outside representatives, which I think is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, my point is not necessarily to represent the department per se, but is to have like an insider on how the departments operate. You know, because I'm
Which is
not,
nice.
I'm not here at all to represent the Bethel Fire Department. I'm here to represent both departments. But I kind of have some inside knowledge, being a 35-year member of the Bethel Fire Department, on how the department operates. You know,
Absolutely.
and I don't necessarily have that internal knowledge. I mean, I got some basic knowledge of how Stony Hill operates, but I mean, I don't have the full.
No, but you also have the knowledge of, when I come before you gentlemen about equipment and things, and that would be the same way for Stony Hill. If you have a senior member from Stony Hill, that member would be able to speak from strength of, yes, that's what's going on.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think it would help the commission overall.
And I've also spoken to one of your members, John, and he's very interested and would be highly anxious to take that seat should it come forward.
Right, so, want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we draft a letter to town council to change the ordinance that establishes the fire commission to include a senior veteran or retired member from each fire department in lieu of the selectman's position.
Okay. Seconded by Doug Cuny. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
You're gonna have discussion first.
Oh.
I would remind you gentlemen that you also were gonna do, I don't know if you already did it or not with Marty.
What's that?
You were gonna entertain myself at Chief Baker's request,
Oh, yes, I'll do it at the same time.
either us or a designee
Designee.
be able to come here and speak in our stead. if we're
Yes.
not here.
Yep,
Because right now, the way it's written, it's us.
just you, yeah, which is not good.
Yes,
Um,
please.
We'll spread that away.
So I'll amend my motion to include amending the chief's position, or allowing the chief to appoint a designee.
Second as amended.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I guess Mr. Cuny being the secretary, he'll have to write that draft.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. All right,
Guess I should have taken more notes. I just put a check mark next to it.
all right,
It's
so
been recorded.
the next item up here is the discussion on the first quarter expenditures, and I'm gonna let Mr. Ingram speak on that one again.
Yeah, I guess I jumped the gun on that a little bit. I guess we're like a month ahead of time, but that's one of our duties as described in the articles of the commission. But according to the articles of commission, I believe the Board of Finance is supposed to submit the expenditures of both departments to us for review
Review, yeah.
each quarter. And we have yet to do that.
So
So,
then, what I will do,
we'll
I'll
have
put
to-
in
We'll have to request
this
to the
month.
Board of Finance for the first quarter expenditures for our
Absolutely.
next meeting.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we request from the Board of Finance the first quarter expenditures of each department to review at our next regular meeting.
Perfect. All second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. The next item here is the consideration and discussion of the possible study / review of apparatus and department needs. Now, Fred, you had reached out to me against this, but I wanted to kind of speak to it too, because I had made the motion when I wasn't here that night.
Okay.
So go ahead, you can start.
Well, the only thing that concerns me is, I mean, we've already done an apparatus needs study many years ago, and, you know, the town spent a great deal of money on it, and we did absolutely nothing with it.
Yeah,
Now, also, ARPA money on public safety, except us.
And that's what it was intended for, you know.
I agree with you 100%.
I tried
Sorry,
not
just
to.
kicked us off for a minute.
oh, no worry.
um,
I would have said a lot of things.
The Milford's spending almost 500,000 ARPA funds on a burn building for their fire station.
Listen,
You know,
I've said it a million times, you know, I got paid to go to work during the thing, so I was okay, but you guys did all that voluntarily, so
Brookfield,
you should be certainly getting something.
1.4 million in Brookfield, including an ambulance and a fire truck.
If it's possible, John, if you could kind of give us a little bit of a report for next month on what you think you're gonna need, right, like, as far as go through your pads, if you think you're gonna need this many, you know, if you
I know
want
we
to,
just made
if you
a
wanna-
large purchase of pads.
if you want to split it in half, or, you know, whatever you think is gonna be the best bet to kind of phase them out. If we can do
So-
that, I mean, that's,
So what are you looking to do? 3 and 3? 2 and 3 years?
if we were to put forward 3 now, that'd be like, what, eight $8,000, right?
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be a better pill to swallow, right?
Yeah,
And then-
if you're saying the units are still serviceable, they just can't be serviced.
Yeah,
And he just
Right.
ordered pads,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I
the
mean, I
units
can
should
get,
work for.
I can get another year out. That's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, and then the three that you replace become backups for the three that are still being used.
So I'll make a motion that we recommend to the Board of Selectmen to pass along to the Board of Finance for the purchase of 3 AEDs at this time, and then we'll, you know, within 6 months to a year, look into replacing the final 3. Chief, if you could just
I was gonna
Verify.
tell you, I will verify what we have and get you guys a
I
list.
remember a couple of years ago, you guys said you were replacing like yours, and that's,
I
we wanted to
believe
get
we
into
did.
it, yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
just as long as we don't end up in the
Mine are
10.
good, and that's why.
But we did, company.
Gotcha.
So obviously the next time we can look at it.
Because the ones on the yeah,
Because they're on,
yeah, they're on the fire apparatus.
that's correct.
Yeah, I know, going back to when I was chief, we always the company would replace the ones on the ambulance, and we kind of downgraded the ambulance ones to the
Yeah.
fire apparatus because they were still serviceable.
You know, I'll say this too, I will throw this out there. Board of Ed has their own budget. They approve it. They don't have to go anywhere else.
Yeah,
You guys have to go somewhere else. And then the Board of Selectmen has to go somewhere else. I would think that maybe if there's stuff like this, maybe you have a quarterly meeting that's a joint meeting. All 3 boards specifically to just go through what we've requested and why. Well, we could appear there and talk to everybody all at once.
Yep.
We will have already spoken with you gentlemen.
Yep.
So you know what we're talking about. And then jointly, you can all vote. And it's done. Because the way it is right now is, I mean,
look crazy.
well, the Hearst equipment that you guys approved months ago,
Which got approved by the Board of Finance.
finally,
Yes,
right? So now I can make the phone call.
you can.
But, you know, that's just a perfect example.
Okay. Yeah, that
Right.
definitely got approved though. I know that.
Okay.
So, okay.
So I will call him tomorrow.
Brian, because I was trying to look for the thing. Sorry to get sidetracked. So I was trying to look for, you had sent that quote, right?
Yes, I did.
And I couldn't find it. So
I probably still have it on my phone.
if you could call him tomorrow and then,
Sure. Absolutely.
remember we voted for the hydraulics? Yeah, that's Patrick actually reached out to me. And I said, the Board of Finance approved it. So I said, and that's why I was looking for the quote. But I said,
Right.
Brian knows it. So if you can, I'll tell Patrick that you'll contact Brian and,
Yeah, I was just waiting to make sure
Sure.
with you that it's definitely approved before.
yeah,
You don't want to order $35,000 worth of stuff and find out it's not approved.
no,
That's a bad thing.
I was given the copy of the Board of Finance's approval.
Very good.
All right, so as far as the ADs, I'll make the motion to send forward to the Board of Selectmen on the purchase of 3 AEDs for Stony Hill for their apparatus with the replacement of the remaining in the future.
Second.
Seconded by Doug. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Next up is the consideration to purchase security camera system through the town's IT department for Stony Hill. That's
So earlier in the year, we were
Copy.
looking at putting in cameras in
Yeah.
Stony Hill. I got a quote from fire control, I got a quote from,
you've gotten 3 for us, right?
yeah, so, but then we were having an issue with the quotes not matching.
Matching, yep.
So I had some technical questions that I didn't have an answer for, so I stopped into IT.
Yeah.
And I said to Nick, you know, how much knowledge do you have when it comes to security cameras? He says, too much. I said, okay, so here's my, and then he elaborated and says, well, I fixed the camera system at the railroad station, and he put the camera system in here. I said, well, why am I going through all this trouble of getting quotes from outside companies when we have the knowledge and the expertise right here in town?
On staff.
So on staff. So that's when you can put that together, which is like 50% less than what I was getting from these outside companies.
So just
And
so
he
I,
said,
Much better deal than Chris got. Chris got 4 cameras for $5,000. You're getting 16 cameras.
Well, those are outside cameras too.
Yeah.
So they're safe.
So yours is 6,000, right?
Yeah,
Is that the
because
number?
I gave him the quotes, which was 5 cameras in the bay,
Yeah.
5 cameras in the interior of the firehouse, and then I believe it was another 6 outside.
Okay.
And that's why he,
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree 100%. I think I was the one that brought it up, that we should have security cameras out in Stony Hill. being
Yeah.
One of the only town buildings that
Yeah,
doesn't have any.
and I think he was saving money by, he said he could get building maintenance to run the wiring.
And I think one of the things we're gonna run up against here is if we're gonna, this is gonna get recommended to the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance. You got one department asking for 5,000 for 4 cameras and one department asking for 6,000 for 16 cameras. The Board of Finance is gonna say, what?
Well, we're just gonna have to explain to them that, that process was already in the,
That
In
was
the work.
already in before
Yeah.
they took over.
yeah,
That's the
as I say,
problem.
that one was already underway.
So we're finishing,
We were able to make this work the better way.
right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just
We're
saying,
learning.
expect some,
Yeah,
expect some
I hear that
kickback somewhere.
question too.
It's
No,
not
I-
only you guys, but John and I are learning as we go along too. Like I said, I went to Nick early on about IT stuff and
Yeah.
found out that he could do all that and look at the money that's been saved there
Yeah,
by both departments.
absolutely.
It's been a huge savings.
So this 16 cameras would totally outfit your department inside and out for security purposes?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Is that-
limited,
Is that monitors and everything though, or is that?
yes.
Okay.
Yep, he said that would include a monitor, that includes remote monitoring.
So everything that you'll need,
Right, the only thing, I didn't go to every single room in the firehouse, it's mostly hallways.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to say right away, I said, I need,
that's,
10 cameras in the
yeah.
interior to get one in the kitchen or one in
Well,
the,
the important start
office.
is as long as we see people going in and out of the building.
right, and I'm looking for
Make-
the
make
high
thorough.
traffic areas and
Exactly.
where I think something may go wrong.
Okay.
That's exactly where we have, what
Yeah.
the chief just described. Front room, and then it's the high traffic areas in the building and the areas that we want to protect, like the IT room in the basement. We make sure we put one in that wall, so we know if somebody tries to get in that door.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Any other questions?
So I'll make